Hey, how you doing guys, it's ZDEyE here. So today I wanted to share my full review for Assassin's Creed Mirage. Now yesterday I actually made a first impressions video for Assassin's Creed Mirage, but I even mentioned there that I feel like I might be relatively close to finishing the whole story and the game. And yeah, well, after putting in an additional 10 or so hours, because I just went crazy with this, right? I finished the story, I did a lot of other side quests as well, because like I mentioned, I will be going for a platinum trophy on this game, so I'll need more time for that. But now since I finished the story, I got the whole chunk of the game under wraps and basically experienced everything that it has to offer. I am feeling more confident to share my full review for this game since I already marinated on my thoughts, I slept on it, just to give you my honest opinion. So, I want to mention some of the good, some of the bad regarding of this game. So, let's begin from the beginning and we're gonna start with a positive. It's a nice and obvious return to the classic Assassin's Creed style, old school, with the main aspect being stealth gameplay. I genuinely think that's a bonus for this game. I can't believe that we actually have to incorporate this into the positive aspect, because one thing that Ubisoft has done right is actually going back into old school style of an Assassin's Creed game, and now we're mentioning this as a positive. So I'm gonna give this a positive, but I'm not gonna give it like an extra score, so to say, or like a merit thing just because they went back into the roots of a true Assassin's Creed game and the title as it should have been already. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I hated those newer RPG trilogy of games. No, in fact, I genuinely liked them. But I'm not gonna say and pretend as if they were now bloated, because oh my goodness, they were ginormous in size. Especially if you want to go for a platinum trophy, you'll be pulling your damn hair out of frustration, and also because such a damn boredom. But because there's so much grind involved in that. But yet with this game, it seems like, and it is obviously, it's gonna be far smaller scale, and man, smaller sometimes definitely is better. So I want to mention as well another positive, that it has a very nice accuracy towards the historical details. It genuinely is on point and is always looking incredible. Now there's a little bit of a positive and maybe a tiny bit of a negative regarding this as well, in terms of the beauty and the look and the beauty. Let's touch on that. Some aspect of the game is incredibly beautiful, right? There's a looker, you want to take photos and shots and screenshots. It genuinely is incredible. But yet there are moments, for example, I'm noticing in the game that, if you look closer, you'll see some of the, compromises that were made. And okay, wait, what's going on here? What's going on with this detail and the world? It seems like a very low end, if that makes sense. And I don't know if that's like a very bad thing. Of course, I would expect to see some kind of compromises to be made for this game and such. But nevertheless, I definitely needed to mention it in here. So I want to say that another positive is definitely a more focused adventure that this game has. But yet again, just like it is with the positive, there is always a negative to this as well. Now, in terms of the negative, I will mention it a little bit, but it's regarding, well, if it's a larger scope of an adventure, obviously it's going to be more content for you to play through. That can be considered of a positive. But also, it could be meaning of a bloat, it could be meaning of repetitiveness, and so that could mean of a negativity as well. So another positive I definitely want to mention is the black box mission design, similar that was actually in the Unity, and it's all back here as well. I really like that approach, right? You have to kind of think carefully on your toes and think about how you're going to infiltrate this stronghold and full of enemies. Like, it's awesome. I love that. And so it's not like one of the RPG games that basically just go in blazing, running in, killing everybody because you're like a goddamn superhero. In here, you actually have to think about what you want to do. I love the setting, right? For an Assassin's Creed title, an open world title, being of a 9th century of Baghdad is incredible. It really makes me feel like I'm back in the Assassin's Creed 1, and it's so reminiscent. I love this. Like, I love the look, I love Baghdad. I'm actually a fan now of Baghdad, because I never was really kind of fascinated by the setting, by this place, right? Like, at first when it was announced, oh, this place is gonna be, this next Assassin's Creed gonna be based in Baghdad, just like, I would feel nothing, right? Because I don't have kind of interest towards this place. But now after playing this game and finishing it, oh man, I'm very much looking forward to visiting this place in the future, because I'm actually considering of purchasing a ticket and going here, at least just to check out these historical visits and stuff, and how the modern day people live in Baghdad as well. It's genuinely interesting. Okay, here's a good thing, and maybe it's also once again a little bit of a negative aspect as well. So it's a very good aspect on towards the stealth, right? Over the face-to-face sword swinging action, like I mentioned, in terms of the superhero narrative of this bloody thing. Like you're just like, you are a one-man army. In this case, you're not. But again, there's some negative in that the combat, and here's the negative, that the combat, it feels a little bit finicky, right? It doesn't feel exactly, well, great. But like I said, since it is a positive, there's also a negative. But regarding the combat as well, it's okay, right? It's serviceable, but it's like, again, it's just mediocre at best, really. And you know, also, oh, I have to mention this. I'm sorry. The button layout. What's with the button layout? Like seriously, it was so convoluted, because like for you to use your main weapon, you have to press R1 button. I'm specifically talking about the PlayStation 5 button layout. So you press R1, you initiate the strike, and also if you want to be in the stealth mode, right, and you want to secretly assassinate a target, it's the same button, R1. And it continuously kept on messing me up. Like at one moment, okay, I can initialize a strike on this specific enemy, and I do so, but then suddenly I just initiate a normal strike, but yet I wanted to assassinate this target. It's ridiculous. It happened to me like more than I can count, and it's annoying. I feel like the placement of a button needs to be changed here. Another thing, the action button in terms of the R1 being that, well, you can initialize the strikes. If you hold the R1 button, you will do a heavier strike. I feel like R2 button should have been used here more often. I feel like R2 should have been more of a heavy strike, R1 of a light strike. I'm not sure why did they decide we're going like this. Again, I totally get why, well, they didn't really pay too much attention to it, because, you know, they want you to play as a stealth-oriented player. But again, like I said, there's a positive, there's also a little bit of a negative in this case. And you see, because of this also, this is definitely positive, I love this. A sense of danger is really big here. You do not want to be constantly preyed upon, right? And I love that. There's a system, like a cop wanted system sort of thing, up to 3 levels. The first level, normal people can recognize you, and they kind of give away your position. The second level is basically archers are going to be placed on top of the roof, so it's going to be much more difficult for you to traverse through this world, this map, this place, Baghdad. And the third level is basically everybody wants to kill you. And there's going to be a very special VIP enemy coming at you, and he's a very tough opponent. You can't just simply assassinate him all at once, so you're going to have to face him face to face using your availability that you've got in store for yourself. And if you do manage to kill him, all your wanted level gets restored. And there's also another way of just bribing a speaker, so you can actually completely remove the wanted level for yourself. But of course you'll need tokens for this. They're basically for you to be a little bit of a thief and rob random civilians of stuff, and they can actually give you tokens like that. And also for the completion of the contracts, the missions, you get rewards for it. Another thing, you can just simply tear down the wanted posters 3 times, and you can remove all the 3 wanted levels that you have gained. And it's nice. I love this. You actually have to pay attention to this, and I like the way there's also ways of just simply not running away, but you have to constantly think about, okay, even though I'm no longer being tracked, but yet there's always going to be in the back of my mind, okay, well, somebody's still gonna recognize me. I have to take care of this situation right now, so I do not have this wanted level. I love this. Okay, now here I already touched on a slight bit. This is definitely positive of fun tools to unlock, right? That you've got a smoke grenade, you've got a trap grenade, well, again, a trap, you've got knives, you got a blow dart, you've got a torch. I love them, right? There's so many varieties that you can use these unlocks to your own advantage for wherever the case that you would like. Now, another thing, a force meter, or I don't know what the hell it's called. Basically, you can slow down time, like everything is completely immersion breaking, and you can take out 5 enemies at once in the vicinity, and you do it instantaneously, basically. It's like a teleportation, more or less. I think this is kind of, it's cool, it looks awesome, it works really, really well, but unfortunately it's not exactly grounded experience due to this. I didn't really utilize it as often as I perhaps should have, but also I kind of just forget that it's even there. But yeah, anytime whenever I want, okay, it's like, okay, I have to pay attention, there's like 5 enemies grouped up relatively close together, so I can utilize this strike, and it's awesome, it looks unique, but it's a little bit of a cheap tactic as well. So I don't know if I can say this is a necessarily positive, since this can be considered as a negative as well. Okay, I'm not sure if this is a positive, and I don't know, I cannot put this negative either, because there's no modern day plot at all. There's just non-existent in this game. There's a mention at the beginning of the game that William Miles, serving as a kind of a framing of the vice and the introduction that he talks about. I don't know, I don't pay attention to this, and I didn't give a shit because, well, we never actually saw this part of the game at all. It was completely useless. Oh, and I think this might be the last positive thing about the Assassin's Creed Mirage. I love the way you can pick up the collectibles, the codex entries, that actually gives you history lessons on different aspects of the city during the 9th century of Baghdad. It's lovely. I like learning about this, the city, the plot, everything, the historical value within this game as well. It's nice. It's a very nice touch. Alright, so I already mentioned a lot of positives, a few bits of negativities as well, and not a few of the bullet points that are, well, not really positive, nor is it negative. So let's get into the more of the negativities in this game. So the main story seems perhaps somewhat rushed. It doesn't explain much about Basim's identity, and yet we know that he's going through and what he's going through, but yet like he encounters in the nightmares of Genie. There's no spoilers, do not worry, I'm not going to mention anything in terms of the spoilers. And yet, when he faces Genie, it's just like constantly, every time when he takes down his main targets for the assassinations, and Genie gets closer and closer and then keeps on scaring the hell out of him. It was unnecessary. It kind of does explain at the end, but no, not so. It was not very well done. I don't know if this is a positive, but I definitely put it in a negative part that the main mission could actually use more scenario varieties, because all you do is really investigate and assassinate. That's what you do. But yet again, why I'm not gonna give this a pure negative point is because, well, you're an assassin. That's what you should be doing. So I cannot give this like a minus point or so to say. Okay, now an Assassin's Creed in terms of the charisma is non-existent in this game, and I didn't feel much for these characters, unfortunately. What was her name? Rajan? Look, I even forgot her name. Basically the mentor of Basim. Like, she is, well, she's unique. She has a very unique voice as well, because the voice actress, I'm not sure, is it like people love her voice for some reason? A lot of other people actually do not. Personally for me, well, I just didn't really pay much attention because she was kind of insignificant in this role. Well, other than the beginning of the game, obviously. So yeah, in the middle part, she was pretty much non-existent. At the end part, she is there. I don't know, like the characters overall, including Basim, they were not that interesting personally for me. That actually includes the dialogue. This also includes quite a whole story. So genuinely is forgettable. Okay, so this is important. Parkour. Parkour has been mentioned that has been improved from Valhalla. Yes, maybe, perhaps. When they mentioned also that they had inspirations from Unity, I don't see it. I'm sorry. This parkour is so sticky. Like it gets caught, like Basim gets caught constantly in geometry that you don't want him to jump that direction, go down here. It's not exactly free flow as you would want it to be, and it needs a lot more time in the oven in terms of the parkour system. It really needs more work to be done. I don't think the parkour system really is that well done. It works, it's serviceable, but that's just it. It's just good, it's okay. It's nothing truly special, unfortunately. Like the parkour and the stickiness of it, where you want, like the character wants to go, but you just don't, like, you're telling him, no, I don't want you to go this way, and he just does whatever he wants. It's annoying. I had few bugs in the open world and in game in general. For example, when I approach a specific NPC and a triangle button for me to initiate the sequence or this part of the story does not pop up, so I had to restart from the checkpoint, and that thankfully fixes it. But I had this kind of occasion happen few more times than I can admit, as it happened to me technically 4 times. It did kind of was annoying, but it wasn't exactly broken. And yes, my game actually never had a hard crash or anything like that, and there was no significant bugs that just like the game was completely broken for me. It was not. Performance issues in terms of that, I played a PlayStation 5 version of this game, 60 FPS was definitely the way to play this game, I personally think. There were some hiccups in sort of occasions, but it wasn't like to say that I had an awful time with it. It was not that bad. I don't know if I can give this as a pure negative part, but I feel I have to definitely mention it in here, and I'm specifically talking about the outside areas of Baghdad, not the city, but the whole thing around it. So I feel that's just the dressing, right? The whole outside of the city is a pure dressing, few cosmetics, that's really it. There's nothing really to see or to check out outside of Baghdad. But like I said, since I cannot give this as a minus because, well, the whole plot, the whole game, the whole line that should have been and is within the game is obviously involved inside a Baghdad city. So, okay, I feel like I've mentioned a lot of negatives, and there's one last thing I definitely needed to mention, this whole game of itself. Now, the game doesn't do, unfortunately, anything new or completely mind-blowing, right? It's playing pretty safe. Now, the gameplay structure, coming back to the roots of an old school Assassin's Creed style games, is definitely positive. There's a lot of things and feel that are similar from the newer RPG titles as well included in here, and you pretty much got your Assassin's Creed Mirage. And it's like kind of like a blend of two different types of genres and games kind of combined into one. I like it. I genuinely do. I cannot give this like a mediocre score. I would definitely give it like a little higher than that. But no way this game is like, I don't know, like an 8 out of 10. That would be way too much for this sort of a title. But yeah, I am looking forward to see what next Assassin's Creed got in store, Assassin's Creed Red to be technical. I am looking forward to what the kind of differences will they also implement in the future of Assassin's Creed games. But nevertheless, I had plenty of good times with this game. Alright, like and subscribe, see you guys all later, and yeah, do let me know what you think about Assassin's Creed Mirage if you had a chance to play it, if you finished it, perhaps you didn't get it, well, for whatever the reason, of course. I'll see you guys all later.